So let's actually talk about downloading and installing the Power BI desktop application. Now, important note here, even if you already have Power BI installed, I'd recommend tuning into this lesson and checking to make sure that you're running the latest, most current version. In the course, we'll primarily be using the April 2023 version of Power BI. And again, remember, if you're on an old one, you may very well see some differences in functionality or the user experience. So there are a few different ways that you can access Power BI Desktop. The first, which is what I'd recommend, is downloading it from the Microsoft Store. You can either head to apps.microsoft.com in your browser or launch the Microsoft Store app. You should see a screen like this where you can simply follow the steps. And the great thing about this option is that Windows will automatically handle updates as Power BI rolls out new versions. It also doesn't require administrator access, so this is a great option to use on a personal or a work machine, assuming your workplace policy allows for it. The second option is to download manually from the web by heading to powerbi.microsoft.com/downloads. That will give you some additional download options here. The biggest difference being that you're going to download an executable or exe installation file that won't automatically update with new versions that roll out. And also note that admin access may be required if you choose this route. And third, you can install as part of certain Microsoft 365, formerly Office 365 subscriptions. Power BI Desktop is included in select enterprise-level Microsoft 365 packages. So if your company does use a compatible version of Microsoft 365, just talk to an admin about getting access to Power BI. Now, one important note here is that you may see a screen that's asking for a work or school email address or a paid pro account. You do not need a pro account to access Power BI Desktop. What that screen is doing is asking you to register for Power BI service, which is outside the scope of this course. So remember that Power BI Desktop is always completely free to use, and you don't need an email address to register for an account. So go ahead and take a stab at downloading and installing Power BI. It should be very straightforward to follow the steps. Feel free to reach out if you run into any problems or challenges, and then we'll regroup in the next lesson to talk about adjusting our settings for the course project.